So I'm finally going to get the fish for the low-tech Iwagumi today. And I'm really excited about it because I've been waiting for like 2 weeks longer than I really wanted to. If you missed the last episode, I made a few modifications to the tank, and then I went to the store, and unfortunately they didn't have the fish that I wanted then, the fish that you all voted for, and then they ended up getting their shipment delayed and then lost in the mail. So it's been like 2 weeks longer than I intended to get the fish into this tank. But it gave me plenty of time to make the modification to the filter and add in the frog bit floating plants and then some plants in the background, the Hygger angustifolia, and a little bit of foxtail. So I think the tank is looking really good. I also did bulk up the carpeting plants. I added some more of basically everything, but I'll show you a little bit of a closer look at that later in the video. And I've also been adding a little bit of fertilizer to this tank. But I think I'm gonna go over all of that a little bit later in the video because I really wanna go and get the fish, and I'm like 90% sure that they have them at the store. So fingers crossed. So I think I'm going to gather up a bunch of floating plants from around the studio because I hopefully want to get these fish for free if I can, just trading in floating plants. So I've got some red root floaters and salvinia that I'm going to quickly gather up, then I'll head to the fish store and hopefully get the fish. It's a decent little haul, a bit of salvinia, a bit of red root floaters. Hopefully, this is going to get me some free fish. Let's go. So I'm back from the fish store and I finally have the fish. But I ended up getting a different type of the fish that you all voted for. So in the last episode, I teased one specific type of this fish, and today I got some different ones because the ones that I originally thought that I was going to get, sorry, this is getting a little complicated, didn't make it onto their order form, but they had a bunch of really good looking ones of these. So I guess I should probably just reveal at this point what you guys voted for. So the winning vote from the poll was killifish. And at the store, I was going to get some Gardneri killies, but I ended up going with a really beautiful trio of clown killifish. And you'll see them in just a moment here. I got a male and 2 females. I think they're gonna be perfect for this tank, but before I can add them in, I've got to acclimate them. So as you can see, I've turned the light off just to make them feel a little bit more comfortable before we add them into the tank. We don't really want to blast light on fish that are being acclimated and already going through a stressful process. So lights off. They're currently temperature acclimating just by being in this bag in the water like this. And now I'm going to acclimate them to the water parameters. So this is a 1/4 cup. My wife bought this kind of funny elongated measure, so I'm going to use it. So I'm just going to go with a 1/4 cup into the bag. And I'm going to do that every 5 to 10 minutes-ish for the next half hour, 45 minutes, and then they'll be acclimated and we can add them into the tank. Okay, so it's been a little bit over a half an hour, so I think these guys are ready to go into their new home. I'm pretty excited. And it's generally not a good idea to add the water that they've been in directly into the tank unless you really, really trust your fish store. You never know exactly what's in their water, and they tend to have a lot of turnover with fish coming in and out of the shop. So better to be safe than sorry. So I think what I'm going to do is just use this little net to net these guys out of the bag and then put them gently into the tank. You could also do something like pour this bag into like a net and then put that net into the tank. But either way, just a good idea to keep fish store water out of your tank. So here we go. All right, I'm going to turn the light back on so we can see how the killies look right when we add them. All right, I am going to gently get in here. And in this bag, we have 2 females and 1 male. So here is the first female. Coming along with a little duckweed. I'll have to remove that later. Here is our male. Oh, he is a beauty. And here is the other female. Here we go. It is so exciting to have these fish in here. I feel like I've waited a while to get these guys in, and I'm really happy watching them. I think what I want to do is turn the light off and let them settle in for a couple hours, maybe the rest of the night. But either way, I'll check in with you guys after they've settled in for a little while, probably tomorrow morning, actually. So I'm going to hang out and just watch them for a little bit, and then I'll show you guys how they're doing first thing in the morning, and we can take a closer look. All right, see you in a minute. So it's first thing in the morning, and as you can see, the clown killies are doing super well. The first thing I did this morning when I woke up was just do a water test on the tank immediately. I always like to do this just first thing in the morning after adding fish, no matter how many fish or if I think the tank is super stable or anything like that, just to be super sure that the parameters are stable, because that bioload is going to adjust slightly. Now with this tank, this bioload of these 3 little fish is so small that I didn't really expect to see anything, and I didn't. Tank is super stable. I mean, after all, it's been going for a couple months now. I really like these fish, and I think that they are going to be perfect for this tank in the long term, because they are so small right now that I think they're going to give the shrimp, a really good chance for their babies to thrive and hopefully not be predated on too much. I think they will grow a decent amount, and I really wanted the 1 male and 2 females because I think there's a pretty good chance that we can get some breeding going on in here, because their babies aren't going to have any natural predators anyway. So it's kind of going to be a peaceful little breeding tank for the shrimp and for the clown killies. But it's a really interesting fish too, because there's so much dimorphism between the males and the females. Like the male in here has just a really vibrant tail, and his anal fin is like quite a bit longer than the females. The females also have a little bit more muted colors. They're a little bit more black and white than he is. He has a lot more like orange in him. But they both have the same kind of like really interesting iridescent eye. But the male's is like quite a bit more pronounced. His eye is super, super blue. But I think that adding the floating plants was really good for these fish too, because I see the females especially resting, kind of sitting almost on the surface, like among the floating plants. So I think that that was a good decision to really make them feel safe. And again, the reason we dropped the water level is because these fish can get a little bit jumpy. And so I think having the reduced water level, having the floating plants on top is really going to be good for them and make sure that they are super safe. But another thing that I did do this morning is I just added a little bit of beneficial bacteria to the tank. I'll probably just be dosing just a small amount for the next few days, just to make doubly sure that the cycle in here is really stable. But I don't expect to see any problems or anything like that. And I think I'm going to be doing water changes probably every week to 2 weeks now. And I did mention that I added some more plants. Added basically another pot of glossostigma, hairgrass, and Monte Carlo just to kind of build up the plant mass in the foreground, especially for the long term. Like, we're definitely seeing plenty of new growth, which is looking awesome, but I just wanted to kind of beef it up a little bit because I think at this point, it's really going to be like a sit back, watch, and wait kind of thing. I really want to be able to show you guys this tank in like a couple of months after everything has really had time to grow in. So I think that is the plan for the future. Well, I also started using a fertilizer. I've been dosing a little bit of this UNS Plant Food Min, and I did a bunch of research on this stuff, and it is supposed to be totally shrimp safe. The copper level in fertilizer is the main thing that I look at this point when I'm trying to determine if it is shrimp safe. And this one has an incredibly low copper level. So I'm going to dose this stuff basically whenever I do a water change. I did notice almost an immediate improvement in the glossostigma. I've been using this so far. I'm happy with it. I haven't had any problems. So I'm rambling a little bit about this tank just because I really like it. It's really different than anything else in my studio right now because it is kind of a bit of an experiment. And I think at this point, in this video series, I set out to show that you can do a low-tech Iwagumi with, floating plants, not necessarily the best lighting, no CO2, that kind of thing. And it has been really fun so far, but I don't think I've quite got it to where I want it. So as I said, the video series is not going to end. We're going to come back and take a look at this tank in probably 2 or 3 months. And that is really going to be the test, because that'll be getting on, that'll probably be like 5 or 6 months into the life cycle of this tank. And I think that by that point, it will hopefully be totally carpeted. But I'm really happy with where it is at this point in terms of the fish and the shrimp and how it looks, but super satisfying to have the fish in here. I feel like this tank is finally at the point where I can really sit back and enjoy it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this tank down in the comments. I'm excited to hear what you guys think about where we're at now, and I'm really excited to show it to you in a couple of months. But anyways, guys, that's it for me for today. I hope you really enjoyed the video. I'm glad that we finally got the fish in here after waiting a couple of weeks longer than I really wanted to. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're feeling generous. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.